Hey everybody, happy Thursday, and it is almost 5 o'clock, so cheers. Hope you're having a wonderful week, and thanks for tuning in. This is episode 3 of Closing Time with me. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much, and welcome. My name is Bree, and I am here to share some senior living sales tips that I have learned along the way. And my goal is to leave you with a little tidbit of information that I have found useful in my career so far, in hopes that you will be able to help more families. So today we're actually going to talk about a topic that came from one of my connections on LinkedIn, and her name is Bree Proctor, and she is a new sales leader, and she would like the best tip to close deals on referrals and how to get more referrals. So I wanted to address that first. Welcome to the industry, Bree, and thank you so much. You got a great name, so I can only imagine how successful you'll be. No, but thank you so much for wanting to chat about this. This is such a great topic to bring up. Because, hey, listen, if I've got any A Place for Mom or caring.com connections on here, please do not take this the wrong way. Know that I love you guys so much, and I'm so appreciative of your partnership. But what we really want to talk about is twofold. We want to talk about the non-paid referrals. I think that's what Bree is looking to get more information on. But then let's also weave it into even our paid referrals, and how do we close more of those families and those inquiries that come in. So let's first talk about the non-paid. So, our goal is to obviously be the direct person for people that need to refer families and prospects to a senior living community. So our goal is to build a relationship with people like skilled nursing facilities, rehabs, discharge planners, social workers, elder law attorneys. The list goes on, and I'd be more than happy to send you a really long list, because there's a ton of people that will refer to senior living communities. And so as a sales leader at the community level, you want to know these people, and you want to be their best friends. You want to be really close with them. So you are the person that they think of when they are helping a client on their side and they need to refer them to senior living in some capacity. So how do you do that? So the number one thing is you've got to spend time, hold your breath, out of the community. I know that's it seems so simple, but in our world, it can be a real challenge for us to leave the community at times and plan our week to where we are outside of the community doing business development and building those partnerships with people like rehabs and skilled nursing and hospitals and things of that nature. So the first thing you've got to do is set yourself up for success by making a commitment to yourself and to your team that you are going to spend at least 50% of your week outside of your community to build these relationships, because that's where it starts. Picking up the phone and just checking in with that social worker is not going to build that relationship quite like it would if you got out there and saw them in person and made an impact on them that way. And this is also another piece to this, is that when you go and do these cold calls, maybe you're just stopping in because you don't know anybody at that community or that skilled nursing rehab, what have you, just yet. That's okay. But I want you to have a reason for your visit, and I don't want you to do what a lot of us call the milk run. Maybe you've got a little tchotchke. It could be a cup, it could be some pens, what have you, and you're just dropping it off to introduce yourself. That's all fine and great. But think about how many people go through their front door and say the exact same thing. A whole bunch, I can assure you of that. So you want to stand out. You want to be the person that they remember, and who it starts with. It may not even be that social worker that you really want to get to at the rehab. I'm going to use that as an example. That's going to be your person you really want to build a rapport with, and so they'll send the referral to you directly. But you're going to have to go through a few other barriers. That's going to be probably your receptionist when you walk through the front door. So you want to have a message and an intentional reason of your visit, because you're going to get a lot further with that versus I'm just dropping off my pens and here's my card and have a great day, bye. I highly doubt you'll ever get a phone call. I'm sorry, you just won't. So do your research before you go. My strong suggestion is get on your LinkedIn and start perusing the social workers in your area of the rehabs that you're reaching out to. Most of us are on LinkedIn in some capacity, and so you will already have a name of somebody that you're looking to talk to once you walk through the door. Now, once you get that meeting with that social worker or discharge planner, use your time wisely. And how you want to walk into that meeting is essentially showing value on the service that you provide that will help them and make their lives easier. So you've got to go in with a help me, help us attitude. A mentor of mine in the past, that's what she used, Michelle Anderson. And she always used that, help me, help us. And it worked out great. So when you walk in to a rehab and you have that sit down meeting with the discharge planner, you're immediately going to go into some very well-determined questions that you've planned out before you even got to that meeting. So for instance, let's think about some things that are of value to a discharge planner at a rehab. Well, they've got a really big caseload. We know that. There's no question. So how are you going to make that process easier for them to open that bed up at their long-term care facility for the next patient and get that person placed in a safe environment that works for the family and off of their plate and off of their desk? So you want to go in and have kind of a spiel on how do I make that process easy for you. I like to go in with a one pager that says, this is what I need from you to make a quick move-in happen. So you want to be the person that's jumping at that opportunity to say, hey, you've got a quick discharge. We know how insurance can be. They don't give families a whole lot of time to make decisions before they pull the plug and say, guess what? Now you're private pay. So this is what I need from you to make a quick move-in happen every time. And you have my word that we can make that work. I would laminate it. I would have your forms, whatever it is that your state needs. Put your logo on it and put your name and phone number. And I promise you, social workers and discharge planners are so appreciative of that because they are so busy. It's really tough for them to think about all the things that they need to send somebody for a quick move-in. And one, what this is helping is you just made that process so easy for them because now they know exactly what you need on a checklist. And the first time that you do it and it goes well, it's just going to keep getting better and better because of that relationship that you're building. So that's one example that I would say that would work really well for you coming into that first meeting with a new rehab and social worker. The next one is I want to make sure that you're asking questions that are of value to them. And, we can really get into a whole hour-long conversation about, intentionally thought out questions to bring. And I will probably follow this up with a longer video at some point on what those questions can be. But start thinking about, how are you involved in that process with a family when you know that going home is no longer an option for your patient? Tell me what that looks like for you when you have those meetings with those families, and what part do you play in that? I think that's a great question that you can ask social workers because then you understand, how they help steer that family. And that's going to help you position yourself to be the person that he or she is going to call each time and add value to that. So really what you want to become is the local, non-paid agency, if you will, for that social worker, so they are not calling a paid service. And why this is important is because a place for mom, I'm so sorry, I love you guys, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but communities have to pay them a very large portion of the first month's rent and sometimes the care. It can be pretty astronomical when you look at it and you're getting a lot of your move-ins from paid referral sources. So if there's any opportunity for you to build that relationship and cut out the middleman, do that. Be the expert, even if you're not the right option. Let's say your community is not the right option for that referral that social worker sent to you. Still be so thankful for the opportunity. One, you were the first person that social worker thought of, which is amazing. Good job right there, because there's 1,000 communities they could have chosen. But two, it's an opportunity for you to help a family. And word of mouth is the best referral you're ever going to get. So even if that family is not the right fit for, let's say, your community due to acuity, due to a multitude of reasons, make sure you follow through with that and be that non-paid agency, if you will, and make sure you refer them to a community that is the right fit. If not us, then who is a question you always want to ask yourself. And, so make sure that you've built good relationships with your competitors so you're able to follow that all the way through to make sure that family is really getting the assistance that they need. And don't be bummed out that you're missing out on a move-in. I can assure you that if that family has had a wonderful experience with you, they will share that with others around them, and you will get another referral. Maybe it's even from a family referral. Or it could be from another community, so think about how this kind of snowballs with you simply just being an advocate for that family and making yourself available. The other thing is, okay, let's say that the social worker is sending you a lot of referrals that maybe are not the right fit. Go take them lunch. Everybody has to eat, guys. So go take them lunch and have a lunch and learn with their whole discharge planner team, social worker, nurse, whomever is a part of that, and educate them on your services. Bring in something, that gives you undivided attention of the entire team to where you can communicate what you provide, what makes you different, and how that process will look each time if you think of us. So that's a great way to break in. I can assure you not many people are turning down lunch or even bring in something like breakfast early in the morning, but you've got to go to them. Social workers, it's fairly rare for them to be able to leave their desk and come to you because they're so busy. So you need to make this convenient for them. I assure you this will help you with building more private referrals. Your company will be very happy because they are no longer having to pay very large percentages to paid referral sources. And it's going to make you become your local expert for families, and nobody's having to pay. And we all want that. So, that's my one piece for you, Bree, and for everybody else that is curious about that. Other side of this is going to be a little bit longer today because this is a really complex question, but it's so good and it's such a big part of what we do. So a place for mom and things like that I call them the necessary evil. And I would tell this to my good friends that are advisors at these paid referrals agencies. They're the necessary evil. You want to be close friends and have strong relationships with these people because let's face it, I would much rather that paid referral come to me and my community than go to my competitor and I don't even get an opportunity to work it and meet that family. So I want you to look at it that way. Most companies are still wanting you to pursue these leads. Now, of course, the hope is at some point you've done such great business development that you don't really need to lean as much on the paid referral sources and agencies in the area. But until that time comes, still very much so be a part of that partnership with them. Run after it. In fact, one thing that I've always done with paid agencies in the area, it could be local, it could be national, whatever, is I like to set up a weekly or bi-weekly phone call with the advisor that I've been working with. and let's run through our leads that we have together. Go into your CRM, look at your follow-up, look at your database and some of the notes, and make sure you guys can compare and contrast, and you guys can work together to close that deal and help that family make a decision. They want to close it as much as you do. If you are making money, they are making money. And so I want you to think about it that way, is you need to not be stressed out that a Place for Mom or another maybe a local agency sent you a lead. Be very excited about it. Pick up that phone and communicate with them if they've sent you a tour, if they've sent you a lead. Make sure that you guys are on the same page, because then you two can work as a team to make sure that that family gets a solution quickly. Best thing you could ever do. And I promise you, you will close more leads and get more move-ins by being really communicative with those paid agencies, whether it be local or national. So those are just a few examples of things that I would do to build your private referrals that are non-paid, and to also build your relationships with your paid agencies in your market. And there's so much to unpack here, but I think that's a good place for you to start. Is I like to think of what's the number one place that always is going to have a need to refer to senior living. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a skilled nursing facility, rehab. We know the whole scenario. Mom or dad, has fallen at home. They went to the hospital. They went to rehab. Now we realize they can't go back home independently, so we have to have assisted living. So, that right there that shows the value and how important it is for you to build those relationships. So do your research, create a plan for yourself to be 50% out of your community to build those relationships. And then not only do it one time, but keep doing it. If you are not consistent, people forget you, because you're not the only person knocking on that door trying to get them to send referrals to them. So I want you to build a cadence within yourself of, maybe not every week, but maybe every other week, I'm going to have a touch point with my contact at that rehab, so she knows what availability I have, what my pricing is, any incentives I have going on, and how I can help make her life easier. So I hope this helps, Bree. And if you guys have any more questions, this was really long-winded today, but such a great topic. If you guys are interested in going over some more ways to build private referrals with other areas, such as like elder law attorneys and real estate, I'd be happy to do that. Just mention that in the comments and tell me what you'd like to talk about a bit more. So key takeaways for you is to definitely hop on your LinkedIn, find out who the decision makers are at these rehabs, and who are the players that are sending out private referrals, and schedule a luncheon with them. I think that would be a great place to start. And I can't wait to hear your successes. And cheers. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.